Welcome lovers, I don't know what I'm doing, but you probably already knew that, and it has been a little while since I've done a video of things that I don't understand, and the list, my friends, has gotten much longer. So here we are today, doing yet another one. So the first thing I would like to talk about is people who don't understand sarcasm. I know that a lot of people who don't understand sarcasm don't understand it because of a particular mental capability, but like for people who are perfectly fine and either choose not to understand sarcasm, and there are those people, they annoy the shit out of me, or people who just don't care enough to try and understand when it happens, so they're always thinking that you're serious, and no matter what you say, they're like, oh my god, really? Really? Ugh! Or they get like really mad at you or like really confused, and it's like, it's sarcasm. Learn it. The second thing I'd like to talk about today is people who really don't understand economics. Like, I can understand when people don't get, like, complex economics, but, like, basic... Like, there are people who will go to a grocery store or will go out to a place to get fast food or something like that, and they'll be, like, a 2-for-1 type of a deal. Like, hey, you buy this thing, you get this thing free. You buy this, you get half off of this. You still save money. But there are people in the world who see stuff like that and still for some reason think that they're getting ripped off. Like, they'll see like buy two get one free and they'll be like, oh well, you still have to pay for two of them. I'm like, but you're still getting a free one. I don't know. Stuff like that. And other things in the sense of economics that people don't understand is like people who get mad about the fact that women have to pay more for healthcare. And I mean, not only do women seek medical help more often, but they need more medical services for things like having babies, boobs, stuff like that. So you need more service done, you need to pay for more service. I don't get why people get so mad over women having to pay more than men for medical insurance, because there's more to be insured. You know when you go into a public bathroom and there's like a bunch of stalls there, and then the very last stall is like that really big handicap stall? I don't get people who go into the bathroom and all of the stalls are open and then go to the handicap stall. I mean, it is for handicapped people. What if somebody with a handicap came in while you were in there? You're not even injured and you just like the big stall. That I don't get why people do that. I'm like, you're rude. I don't know. It annoys me about as much as people taking up a handicapped parking space when they're not handicapped. And another thing I would like to talk about is people who expect you to make an exception to any rule just for them. Especially when it comes to like fast food, because that's what I have experience in, is people will so frequently like come through to buy fast food and you'll be like, if you're the cashier and you're like putting all the stuff and prices on there, somebody who like, for example, somebody who looks rather young but doesn't have their ID with them wanting to buy alcohol, and you're like, I'm sorry, I can't sell you alcohol, you don't look old enough to me and you don't have your ID. So obviously you can't sell it to them, and they're like, oh come on, you can do it for me, you can break this rule for me. And it's, how does that make any sense? I don't know you. I'm at work, so I could get fired if I did that. If you are underage, I could get in legal trouble. And if I did it for you, I would have to do it for everyone else. Why do people feel so entitled that they think that they're the one person who can get away with something like that? And like the same goes for like getting a certain kind of discount or being like, oh hey, can you make this price lower? That's not how the computers work anyway, but I don't get how people have any sort of sense when they say things like that. It's like all common sense just goes right out the brain. And on top of that, it's really, really freaking annoying because we have to be the ones to tell you no, because obviously we can't. And then half of the time the person gets all pissy and mad that you won't break a freaking rule of the place you work at for them. And they're like, oh, I want to talk to your manager. And they're just like, oh, they're being disrespectful or rude or something like that, when you just didn't want to give them something you're not allowed to give them in the first place. The next thing I'd like to talk about is something very close to my heart, and that is people who, for some reason, find it completely necessary to see someone who already has a tattoo and be like, you know that's permanent, right? No, I thought I was gonna shed my skin. What is the point in going up to someone who already has done this permanent thing to their body and being like, oh, you're gonna regret that one day, oh, it's gonna look ugly when you're old, oh, it's permanent, did you know that? And just random stuff like that. And then people who don't know anything about tattoos saying things like, oh, I bet you it's gonna fade away and it's gonna look bad later. It's like, excuse you, it's only gonna do that if they did it wrong, and they didn't, because I went to a good tattoo artist. Thank you. And like, and especially for people who like want to get a tattoo and are going to get a tattoo, and people are trying to convince them not to, even though it's their body, because they're like, oh, it's permanent. Bitch, you think I don't know that? Do I look that stupid to you? And the thing about that is, people will always say stuff like, oh, it's gonna end up smudging, or it's gonna end up looking weird or fading, or it's gonna look like crap, or when you get older it's gonna sag. And I'm like, first of all, people who get tattoos research before they get tattoos, because, you know, it's just a permanent appliance to your body. No big deal. So we've already learned the whole, if you get it done right, then it's not going to smudge together. If you get it done right, it's not going to fade, but maybe a little bit, unless you live to like 150, and then you might need to get it touched up. And we'll know, like, if you get it in a sensitive spot, or in a spot where your skin renews itself frequently, that you're going to have to get it touched up a couple times. We know these things. We do research. We're not stupid enough, at least most of us are not stupid enough to just willy-nilly get fucking permanent shit done to our bodies. We usually know what we're doing. And how does it not occur to somebody that how rude that is to go up to somebody who has already physically done this to themselves? I say that like it's a bad thing. It's not. I have tattoos. Hi, I love them. But how does it not register in your mind how utterly rude and disrespectful it is to go up to someone, point something out on them that is permanent and that they happen to like, and be like, oh, that's a bad thing? I also don't understand why these people seem to think we give a crap about what they think. It's my life. It's my body. Go away. The next people that I would like to complain about are the people who have absolutely no idea how to do something, like a very particular something that you happen to be doing, and still feel the need to criticize every little thing you do. Like, if you're trying to make something or organize something or clean something, and they don't know at all how any of it works whatsoever, and they still feel the need to nitpick every little detail of every step of the way, and it's just like, the things you're telling me to do I can't do, because then I'd be doing it wrong. It maddens me so much. I just want to strangle you. In the words of Jenna Marbles, pipe the fuck down. The next thing that I would like to complain about to your faces is people who don't know the difference between feminism and egalitarianism. There are so many people, I so frequently see people talking about, they're basically the same thing. No, they're not. Feminism encompasses women's rights, specifically women's rights. Egalitarianism goes over the rights of men, women, people of any race, people of any ethnicity, people of any religion. Yes, they're both working with rights, but they're not both working with the same type of rights. One of them is strictly for women. The other one is for everyone. I mean, I get that people are like, oh, they're both good things. I can understand that, but that doesn't make them the same. The next group of people I would like to talk about are people who can drive, like they have a license, they have a car, they drive, but they don't know how to change a tire. I mean, there's really not an excuse for that, because I mean, people used to be able to say, oh, well, no one taught me, but nowadays, you can search how to do literally anything on YouTube, step by step. There is no excuse to have a vehicle and not know how to change a tire. It's not that hard. And like, what are you gonna do if you're out in the middle of nowhere and one of your tires blows and you need to put your spare on and you don't know how to do it? Like, yeah, a lot of people are gonna be able to reason it out, but a lot of people, surprise, surprise, panic in situations like that and can't think straight and can never figure that kind of a thing out. I don't understand people who don't, if nobody taught them, who don't just take like 10 minutes to Google how to change a tire, watch step by step, and like write it down if they need to have it with them or something. It's such basic, useful information. It's so necessary for owning a car. I don't get it. And the same goes for people who don't know how to check, like, their oil levels. Like, if you don't know how to maintain the basic parts of your car, like changing a tire is so basic. Being able to check what level your oil is out is so basic. You pull it out, you look at it, you wipe it off, you dip it, and see where it's not that hard. And yet there are people who, no idea. And I don't get it, because it's just so necessary. I don't know. And the last group of people that I'm going to talk about today are the people who, anytime you try to correct or criticize them or give them, like, even if it's constructive criticism, their immediate response is, oh yeah, we get it, you're smart, duh. Like, why? Not only are you making yourself look like an asshole by responding that way, but you're also acting like a child. Like, I'm trying to correct you on something you're wrong about, or I'm trying to have a conversation with you and being like, oh, I disagree. And if you provide obvious evidence that you're right, they're just so automatically like, oh, we get it, you're smart, stop showing off, stop trying to be like the smartest person ever, nerd, stuff like that. And I'm like, why are you trying to insult, belittle, and get a reaction out of me for correcting a minor mistake on your part? You look like an asshole, you're acting like a 4-year-old, you're being overly defensive, and it makes you look stupid. It really does. Like, I get reacting that way if there's nothing to be corrected and somebody's like listing off all this basic information as if you don't know it. That I understand. But like, if somebody's just politely correcting you and you have to act so offended, why do you need to become defensive at something like that? How did you never learn how to take a basic correction? Like, that's something that you learn so early in life. I don't know how you haven't figured out how to handle your emotions maturely in that kind of situation. It's weird. Like, I get in some cases it's like an extreme imbalance with like chemicals in the brain, but aside from that, most people that react that way are just defensive for no reason. And I don't get why people have to do that. I mean, I'm not trying to be rude, I'm just trying to tell you something so that you don't continually say something that's incorrect and then people just think you don't know shit. I don't know. That's going to be the end of this video, but I have some more stuff, so I definitely will be doing another one of these later. This is probably going to be a very long, ongoing series, but what are you going to do? Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video. If not, that is perfectly okay and perfectly understandable, but I hope that the rest of your day and or night is as lovely as you are. So, bye! I wasn't originally going to get a brain transplant, but I changed my mind.